Hey, good evening, everyone. Happy Tuesday night. Yes, it is Tuesday. I hope you guys had a great day. I am a little bit later than I wanted to be coming live tonight, but I caught on some phone calls this evening that pushed me a little bit later. But I didn't want to not come live because I actually put it in my post earlier about hydration that I was going to be coming live and talking to you guys tonight about hydration, about the truth behind hydration and healthy hydration, and how much water is really too much water, or what is the right amount of water, and how in the heck do we figure that out for ourselves, how much water we should be having. Because you hear all kinds of different numbers all over the place. Some people say 64 ounces, some people say half your body weight in ounces. It's really sort of all over the place. Some people say coffee counts as water or tea counts as water. Some people say it doesn't count as water. So I wanted to take a few minutes to clear some of this up because, as you guys know, I am a big hydrator. That is something that is a healthy habit that I worked on early on in my journey, was getting rid of, actually before I started this official journey. I used to be a huge soda drinker, big soda drinker, lots of it. If all I drank in a day was Coke, then I was happy and I thought I was hydrated. Actually, I knew I wasn't hydrated, but I was sucking down my calories in Cokes. And before I started this journey, officially started this journey, that was one of the first things that I eliminated from my life was the sodas. And I got those out of my life because there's nothing good about sodas. Now, I drink regular, but even diet, if you are a diet soda drinker, or if you live in this part of the country and you say pop or Coke or whatever it is that you call it, even diet is not good for you. The diet stuff, the artificial sweeteners in there, they trick your brain and make you crave the sweets more, even more so, plus all the bad things that go along with having those artificial sweeteners. So no form of soft drinks, no form of sodas are healthy for you, but it is liquid. It is fluids getting into you. So if you're using that as some of your fluids, it does count towards some of that. So tonight, though, I want to talk water. Like I said, you guys know I am a big water drinker. I'm a big pusher, big proponent of drinking water, and like to educate people on drinking water. My favorite water bottle is I'm going to give a shameless plug for my Hydrate Spark. I have this is the new steel. I love it, but I have the original. I have the 2 and I have the 3. I don't use my 2 much anymore, but I have the 3 as well. But I like my steel a whole lot, and I can tout and show you guys how this works. On a different night, I'm going to talk all about my Hydrate Steel and why I love it. Besides the fact, I'll give a quick plug for it, and that is the fact that it tracks my water for me. So when I drink, every time I take a sip from it, it syncs with my phone and it tracks so that I know that I'm on track with my water. Now, why would you think that that's important? And actually, it's really important. Especially for me, because I am a big water drinker. Oh, you're watching it just glowed. I don't know if you caught that or not. I am a big water drinker, and I will sip on water all day long. And if I'm not careful, I don't necessarily right now anymore have the problem of not drinking enough water. I have the problem of drinking too much water. Yes, shocker, too much water is not a good thing either. So I started this by talking about how much water should you really have? What do we need to know about how hydrated we are and what that does when we overhydrate? Because yes, you can overhydrate and it can be a real problem. And actually, this was a conversation that came up in my house just the other day with my husband, because he was overhydrating and it was giving him a headache, and that's very possible. So let me give you a little bit of facts about hydration. So first of all, water makes up between 55 and 60% of our bodies. So it's important. If we're not hydrating, if we're not keeping our body, that fluid there, we have a real problem. We need to keep ourselves hydrated. Water plays a key role in supporting our health during weight loss, because it keeps all your organs functioning properly. It keeps everything moving along. It flushes out the toxins. It flushes out all that stuff when you're having the right one. And it helps move your nutrients, and it helps move everything, your hormones, everything through your body properly. So if you're not properly hydrated, I've had this a lot of times where I've done water challenges in the past. Some of you who maybe have been Facebook friends with me for a while, maybe remember some of my water challenges of old, and maybe I'll bring one back. I don't know. But every time I run water challenges and people do them, inevitably, at least one person comes to me afterwards saying, "Oh my gosh, I cannot believe how much better I feel because I'm actually properly hydrated now." It makes a huge difference. We don't even realize it our skin clears up. A lot of times we don't feel as sluggish. We definitely are not as hungry, because a lot of times when we think we're hungry, we're not really hungry. We're actually thirsty. So, that's always my go-to. If I think I'm hungry and it's not time for me to eat yet, the first thing I do is pick up and sip on my water. But that's part of why I like my hydrate, because it clocks that for me. So I can keep an eye on it to make sure that I'm not drinking too much water during the day. Here's some important things to know about water. First of all, like I said, you can have too much. What happens when you have too much? When you have too much, you're flushing too many things out. You're flushing your electrolytes out. You are, really just can mess up your system. And some people think, wow, well, how much is too much? So how do you know if you're having the right amount of water? You would know because you're watching your urine output. That is the best way to know. How do you know whether you should have 64 ounces? How do you know whether you should have half your body weight? Where is that fine line? So first of all, I want to tell you that most professionals say 64 ounces, like I said, or up to half your body weight in ounces. But 64 ounces is sort of an arbitrary number. It's an arbitrary number that was pulled out of wherever because it's a safe amount for most people, but not for everybody. So you need to know your body. If you have an issue with your kidneys, you can't have that much. So you really want to watch your own body. And if you're having 64 ounces of water, but you're also having multiple cups of coffee and a soda and, whatever else you're drinking during the day, you're not just having that 64 ounces of fluids from that. And, me, my 20-ounce cup of tea that I have every night, I count this in as part of my intake of fluids every day because it's there. And too much is not good. What happens if you drink too much? So that really depends on the individual, but sometimes when you feel too much, just like when you're not having enough, you feel sluggish and tired and gross. When you have too much water, the same thing can happen. You can start to feel sluggish. You can start to feel tired. You can start to feel, it totally messes everything up because it kicks off your sodium levels. That can lead to nausea and vomiting and cramps and fatigue. All of those are also signs of dehydration. So you get it on either extreme, whichever way you are. Extremes are never good. This is something I talk to my kids about all the time. So too much of a good thing is not good. But it's interesting to me that those are the same side effects. If you're totally dehydrated, you feel nauseous, you get headache, you can have vomiting, you can have cramps, you can have fatigue. Those are all signs of dehydration. There are also the signs of overhydration. So you want to stay right in the middle. If it's, scale of 1 to 10, 1 being totally dehydrated and 10 being overhydrated, you want to be in that 5-6 range of there. So how do you figure that out? How do you figure out where you are? So you got to listen to your body. It all comes down to listening to your body. If somebody ever tells you that there is one right answer for everyone, run really fast. So when I have a client that comes to me that is not drinking enough water, which is a lot of my clients when they start, that's a habit that they need to work on for many, many people when they start, is that they're not drinking enough water. I don't take them from very little water. So for instance, I spoke to someone today who is now a brand new client. And she said to me, maybe I get in 20 ounces in a day, maybe if I'm lucky. Okay, I'm not going to take her from maybe 20 ounces to half her body weight in ounces of water because that's a lot of water. She has a lot of weight to lose. Her body weight is high, so it would be a lot of water for her to drink. That would not be a healthy progression for her. If you jump it too fast, all you're doing is flooding your system and your body can't handle it that fast. So we take it up in small increments. So if she's maybe getting 20 ounces, one of the things that I told her while she was getting ready, waiting to start her program, is I said, let's start. I said, tomorrow I want you to track how much water you get in naturally. Not pushing it, not trying to get anything extra in. Let's see where you are. And then we're going to take it up in small increments. We're going to take it up in, 6 to 10 ounces at a time per day. So we're going to watch as her body starts to hydrate. We're going to watch how she starts to feel. We're going to see how her body responds until we get to her magic number. How do we know what the magic number is? Well, the magic number is when her urine starts to be a nice pale yellow, not totally clear. If your urine is totally clear, you've had too much water, you're overhydrated, and all it's doing is going straight through you and it's flushing out all your electrolytes and all the sodium and all the things that your body needs. It's throwing those levels off completely. And so that's not good. That's when we start to feel headachy and fatigue and all those things. And it was interesting because my husband said to me the other day, so in Monday, the day after Rosh Hashanah, is a fast day. And so oftentimes, before a fast, people will think, oh, I need to kick up my hydration. I need to drink a bunch more water. And Sunday we were walking home, and he said to me, I've got such a headache. He said, once again, I'm going into a fast day the day before with a headache. And I said to him, how much water have you had? And he thought I was asking because he thought I was going to tell him he was dehydrated. And he said, oh, I've had plenty. He said, I've upped my water. And I said, you've had too much. And he said, what? And I said, if you're peeing totally clear, you're knocking off your electrolytes, which means you've had too much and your body's having problems with it. You're holding, I said, stop with the water. I said, when we get home, have something with some salts in it to help rebalance that. And sure enough, he did that. He slowed back on his water for the day, and his headache went away, and he didn't have a headache during the fast day. And so if you are, Jewish and you're going to observe Yom Kippur next week, this is part of why I wanted to talk about this tonight. As you're preparing for that fast for next week, don't wait until Sunday to kick up your water. If you are dehydrated now, this week, slowly bring it up every day a little bit more till you find that sweet spot. But if on Sunday, all of a sudden you kick up that water to a whole lot, it's not going to do you any good. It's just going to flush right through you. It's not going to help you be hydrated the next day. And you're probably not going to feel well from it. So don't do that. You want to slowly bring this up. And my kids, actually, my daughter, Emma, who gets regular blood draws, the phlebotomist has told her this many times when she goes, because I always say to her, you need to start making sure if you're not hydrated well, we work on hydration here a lot, but if you're not hydrated well, 2 or 3 days before, you need to start taking your water up, because it will make a huge difference when they go to draw your blood, if you're properly hydrated or if you're not. And, sometimes that morning she'll start cramming and chugging a whole bunch of water, and she'll get there and they'll say to her, doesn't matter if you drank all that water this morning, that didn't get into your system. You've got to be building it up as you go along. So that's really important to remember. If you need to be hydrated for something, if you're having blood work done several days before, at least 72 hours before, start kicking your water up, but find that balance. You want to make sure that you find that balance. It's really important to do that. So I know that my weight loss stalls when I've had too much water. So I know, if I drink, my goal is 80 ounces of water a day. I try to get in. I always know that I like my 20-ounce cup of tea at night. This is like my savior at night. I love it. So I make sure that I get in my 60 ounces during the day of plain, clear water. And then my last 20 is my tea at night. Because I know when I go over that, I see the difference and I don't feel as good. That's the truth. That's what I have found as my good balance. Now, as my weight goes down, that number may shift. And that's okay. So I have to continue to watch. Like I said, I have to continue to watch my urine output, but I also have to continue to watch how I'm feeling, because that's really, really, really important. I can't stress that enough. That this is all very individualized. Everything about this, whether it's an eating plan, whether it's a hydration plan, whether it's your sleep plan, there are guidelines that we can give you. But what you have to do is you have to stop and look and say, what is fitting for me? They say an adult needs 7 to 9 hours of sleep. That's average. I know some adults that need 9 to 10 hours of sleep, or they can't function. They don't feel well. And I know some that naturally wake up on their own at 6 hours on the dot every day, no alarm needed, and they can't sleep past that. They don't need more than that. It's a sliding scale. Everybody's bodies are different. So that's really important when you are making changes to your health, when you want to get healthy. Don't follow blindly. If somebody's giving you advice, follow the advice, but really make sure that if you're working with somebody, that you're working with somebody that's listening to how your body's responding, so that you can figure out what is that right sweet spot for you, whether it's water, whether it's food, whether it's exercise, whether it's sleep. All of those things are really important, and they all play together. But also know that your body's going to change. So what's the right amount of water for me right now might be different than the right amount of water for me in a few weeks. That changes by the temperature outside, by the altitude, all those things can affect it. So that's why with water, that's the easiest one to monitor because, like I said, that's urine output. So it's really, really important. But I hope this helps. I hope this answers some questions for you. Please, if you have answers, if you have questions, feel free to stick them in the chat. I'll come back. I'll answer them in here, or maybe I can go live about this again later on this week and talk a little bit more about it. Because hydration, like I said, it's so important. And hydration, if you were looking to make changes in your health, that is the one thing that anybody and everybody can do. You can be properly hydrated. Water is free. You don't need a fancy Hydrate Spark water bottle, though I love my fancy Hydrate Spark water bottle. You don't need a fancy Hydrate Spark water bottle to make sure that you're hydrated. You need a paper cup. Or an inexpensive water bottle or whatever it is. I happen to like this. I like my gadgets, but it's definitely not necessary. And I am going to go live later this week and tout about it and show you how it works because it's super cool. And if you've been considering one, I will tell you why I would recommend the Steel over their Hydrate 3, which I like the 3 too. I have that as well, but this one is really cool because it has a rechargeable battery. And I found it's more accurate. So hopefully this is helpful. I'm going to stop bragging on my Hydrate 3, on my Hydrate Steel right now. And I'll be back to do that later this week. But I hope you have a great night. If you have questions on hydration, please, like I said, feel free to reach out. It is 10 after 11 and I am on my mission to get in bed on time tonight by 11:30. So I want to go finish up what I need to take care of so I can do that. So I'm going to sign off, but I will see you guys back here tomorrow, hopefully a little bit earlier. Like I said, if you have questions about hydration, stick them in the chat, or stick them in the comments, or feel free to private message me. Have a great night and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.